For today's video, we're going to be focusing on the Kilo Assault Rifle, which is personally one of my favorite weapons in the entire game. It's one of the first weapons I unlocked gold with, and now that I've unlocked Damascus, I've been able to go back to it and kind of experiment with a few different class setups that maybe I didn't get an opportunity to try out early in the game's life cycle. So if you watched the Odin video a couple days ago, you'll know I kind of categorized that weapon as a high skill weapon as I kind of was breaking down the different characteristics. I would say that the Kilo is more on the low skill or medium skill end because it doesn't require a lot of skill to be good with it. It has relatively low recoil, it has average to good mobility for an assault rifle, and it doesn't need a ton of attachments to get the weapon actually performing very well, which makes it so that even if you use kind of a class setup that's not so good, you're still going to be able to do fairly well with it. So even though I'm going to be calling this the best class setup, there's still a few attachments you can swap out that'll still make this a very viable class setup for the Kilo Assault Rifle. And personally, my favorite class setup for the Kilo Assault Rifle right now is the Seangard Arms Whisper Barrel, the Commando foregrip, the 60 round magazine, the stipple grip tape, as well as the GI Mini Reflex. And obviously, since I know some people only click on the video for the class setup, hopefully you guys will click the like button before you click away and make sure you subscribe with notifications on so you'll be able to find your way back to the channel. So now when it comes to the specific gameplay breakdown, this is kind of a part 3 to the series we've been doing on Ground War so far. First, I did a video on the spawns, and then in the Odin video, I was talking a little bit about power positions when I was able to drop that tactical nuke. Now I'm going to go ahead and talk about how to play the map when you have to deal with a lot of campers, and that's what we're going to see in this specific gameplay. There's going to be a lot of campers. I'm going to be moving around the map pretty heavily, and personally, out of all the Ground War maps, this allows you for the most mobility because there's a lot of sight lines that are blocked as long as you avoid the side of the map with the hill where the tanks typically sit, along with a ton of different snipers. So as long as you avoid that little section of the map, you kind of stick to one side, you should be able to cross the map pretty regularly, and you're going to see it within the gameplay. Obviously, our team right now is holding the A, B, C, and D flag, and we're about to lose the C flag, which is kind of going to give us a split spawn. And if you haven't really been tracking the series, a split spawn is basically when not all your flags are touching. So you basically want A and B, or ABC, or EDC, or however the combination is going to work. You kind of want all your flags touching for the most part and connecting to your home spawn. So if you're spawning on the A side, you're going to want ABC, and then vice versa. If you're spawning the E side, you're going to want the CDE. And right now, all I'm pretty much trying to do is rotate back to the other side of the map, kind of peeking what's going on. I see that there was an engagement here with my teammate. Looks like the guy is kind of getting involved over there. Then I decide to go ahead and push up that side once I feel it's relatively safe. There is a tank on the left side, and by being on this side of the map, I'm again avoiding that sniper section and not really having to worry about that. As I come up the stairs, I know that there's going to be enemies in this general area, and I get completely destroyed by someone that's already pre-aiming that stairway, kind of perfectly peaked, ready to go ahead and take me out. And the reason why I knew there was enemies in that general area is because that entire section on the D side of the map is going to be where all the enemies are spawning because their home flag is on the E side of the map. And that's kind of how the spawns work. So basically what's going to happen right now is as my team captures the B flag, we're going to go ahead and kind of move up and through this building. And what the enemies are going to have a strong hold of is the C flag, but on the D side of the map. Because of the way the positioning is, every time they spawn in, they're going to go ahead and spawn in on that D side of the bridge and not the B side of the bridge. So there shouldn't be a ton of people on this side, but there will be people flooding this direction because people are running from that C flag to try and recapture the B flag, which was just lost. And obviously end up running up against that Kilo guy. And right now, when it comes to overall map control, the only issue going on right now is the A flag should not be in the enemy's hands. This ends up getting us kind of wonky spawns. The enemies are starting to take B, at least it was contested there. It looks like my teammates were ready to take them out. And now I'm going to go ahead and push towards the C flag. Obviously, if we can get this side clear, there's a bunch of teammates right here. There's a bunch of enemies. So I got to be a little bit aware of that because it is kind of tricky. I was trying to complete my officer challenges. That's why I am running grenades instead of C4. Typically, if I'm going to be a little bit more mobile, C4 is definitely the way to go because the blast radius is a little bit easier to control. You can go ahead and kind of blow it up on command. So there's a lot going for it in terms of actually controlling the explosive. So I normally wouldn't run the grenade, but obviously since I'm completing those officer challenges, that's what I'm going to run for those specific challenges. And this guy with the gold M4, he slid right under my crosshairs. I never even saw him, and then he basically insta-melted me with a hip fire. And that's kind of sometimes how it goes. You won't be able to see it. That was just all COD timing. If I was just kind of pre-aiming just a little bit lower, I was a little bit further back, I probably would have been able to take him out because I could have landed a couple shots before he was able to close that distance. So sometimes if you're looking to get a flank route, one way you can do it is just to go on the roof. I did not know that there was a VTOL in the air, or else I probably wouldn't have gone this route, but I get completely destroyed by the VTOL as soon as I jump out. But sometimes you can jump on the roof in that way, kind of take a different angle, kind of peek into the bridge and see different people and pick off a couple easy kills, and that'll allow your teammates to push from different angles. So right now I'm trying to spawn on my teammate that is there at the C flag, and I'm obviously forced to kind of spawn out a little bit because they are in combat or whatever the case is, and I push out, get a quick kill, instantly die. And you would think that I probably die a ton in this match, and I don't end up dying all that much for the number of kills I end up getting. I end up with 50 plus kills, and I think I end up with a little bit more than 10 deaths. I end up trying to shoot this down, kind of support the team a little bit with the counter UAV. RPG missed. I wasn't going to give it a second attempt. And this is kind of sometimes when the ground war match gets a little bit stagnant. Unfortunately, the enemy team only has the C flag, so they're only going to be spawning at the C flag, or they're going to be spawning in their home objective, which it looks like they're kind of pushing the E flag so they can kind of take a little bit of control of that. Unfortunately, when this is kind of set up this way, the enemy team isn't really pushing for the objective. They're kind of playing very passive, and they're not really putting much effort into actually playing the mode. They're more often just posted up, camping, playing for streak, covering each other's back. As you're going to see when I push up on the other side, there's going to be a ton of them covering the specific areas that I want to push through and kind of push them out through. So it takes a couple of attempts, but I do end up breaking in. You're going to kind of see that I'm slowly breaking them down, kind of figuring out where all their different locations are. Then over time, I'm able to break in and get all the kills I need. Keep in mind, this would be completely different if I was playing in a full party of 4. We'd be able to rush this at the same time, push from both sides at the exact same time, make a little bit of confusion happen there, throw in some flash nades of smoke. There's all kinds of things you can do when you're playing in a party, but when you're playing solo, you're gonna have to do this all on your own, which is significantly more difficult. Unfortunately, when I pushed that first time, EOD didn't do enough to keep me alive. EOD is kind of weak in this game. It will help you in some occasions, but other times it just is kind of useless. You see, I do have a teammate here. Blow up that, I kind of come in, and then there's another one that is literally behind it that I wasn't aware of. Obviously, if I was aware of it, probably would have approached that differently, but you guys can see there's literally 3 of them standing behind a claymore, and typically players that play like that are not good players, and that's just the facts of it. If you run up against someone and you know they're camping behind a claymore with their teammate kind of covering each side, and they're kind of looking out for each other in that particular way, you know that if you come head to head, you're going to outgun them. That's not going to be the issue. You're not going to ever have to worry about that. The only thing you're going to have to worry about them is pre-aiming you and knowing exactly where you're at before you're able to see them. In this scenario, you're going to see that I take out a couple people, and I don't even see the last guy. I take out that guy, I stim shot, I'm pushing back up because remember, that guy was the same guy who tends to sit in the corner. You get some random dude laying prone, pre-aiming the stairs, waiting for somebody to come up. So they're really kind of fortifying this area, almost like a rat infestation. They're locking it down pretty heavily. And you guys run into these same people, and a lot of times you're not going to see YouTubers post this stuff. They're going to cherry pick their best gameplays and then show that off for you because it has entertainment value and people tend to watch that. Personally, I played about 4 or 5 matches with this. I had probably 2 or 3 matches that were actually better than this specific gameplay, but I don't really care as much about entertainment value as I do the educational value and kind of walking you through what a real match looks like and how I deal with it. Because obviously I want people to learn from my gameplay. Otherwise, I would just edit out all the deaths, make me look like a rock star, and you'd be left wondering why your lobbies never look like my lobbies, because I'm basically would only cherry pick the best lobbies I get in 1 hour gaming session. And I don't really want to do that. What you're going to see is the real gameplay, and I'm going to give you real tips that I experienced from playing the game. Right here, you can see that I'm utilizing the mini-map to detect where people are. I take those guys out. I have a teammate right next to me, and I'm thinking if I want to go ahead and take a different approach. I'm taking the ladder because it looks like my teammates are running in. It looks like there's a VTOL in the air, so you got to be aware of that. Kind of peek the areas where I thought people would be, and it looks like there's someone in this area. You just can't really find exactly where they're at. I come out, get a couple kills here, line up all the shots. You can see that none of them are paying attention. I could have probably landed a few more shots there. This guy jumps out, and then there's a guy that comes up the stairs, and I kind of get pinched, and it all ends up being bad. That guy that probably came up behind me, he probably literally just spawned in, walked up the stairs, and walked behind me. And those are real things. I was kind of alone up there, and this is going to be my last real push right here to actually take the C area. I'm going to go ahead and clear out the whole building. You're going to see how I do it. Obviously, I'm going to do something similar to what I've been doing, but now I kind of have a good idea of where everyone's at. You can see it's really flooded upstairs, and pretty much all the enemies are on one side of the C bridge. And as I push up, luckily the enemy team called in a white phosphorus. I was able to stim shot, because if you don't stim shot right away, I would have been basically one shot. So if any of these guys actually shot me, I would have been pretty much dead. I come through, did not die. EOD saves me in that particular case. I do have a teammate coming up behind me, and you can see that all my teammates are starting to flood to the bridge, which is nice because the second they tap that bridge, the enemy team will only be able to spawn on each other or at their original headquarters, because you can see E is currently contested along with C being captured. So I end up taking that guy out as well, and then I go ahead and kind of jump to the corner. I want to go ahead and put in my stopping power rounds. Whoever threw smoke, it kind of worked out. Enemies run through. I'm able to shoot them both in the back, and I pretty much was able to get full streaks rather quickly. Right here, I'm just kind of posted up. I don't really know what's going on because there is a counter UAV, and now I'm starting to push to the other side so I can go ahead and call in that VTOL. I did need to get my cruise missile kills as part of the officer challenges, so you're going to go ahead and see me call that in right now. And that's pretty much going to be the gameplay. Obviously, I end up finishing out the match. I think I went 54 and 16 or something like that. And a lot of deaths as a result of trying to push this particular objective. And that's just sometimes how it goes. That's the real deal. Hopefully you guys did learn something from it. If you did, please do me a favor hitting that like button. If you're brand new to the channel and just haven't yet subscribed, definitely consider subscribing for more Call of Duty content. Appreciate all the support on the channel. Thank you for watching. As always, have a great day.